Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Vagrant Story Episode 7. Joining me again is SorenHighwind.
We are on a goddamn roll.
This is a marathon and this is video 6 for him. So
Hell yes.
he is in it to win it at this point.
I need to do this more often.
Yes. And actually it's a great help because it gives me something else to talk about, because somebody who's never seen the game before can ask questions that I wouldn't ask because I've seen the game before.
Right.
So it's quite
right
perfect.
on. Nice.
Nice. Excellente.
Fantastic.
So here we are, quickly going back to where we encountered Sydney and Guildensterno so that we can progress.
Why does everyone in this game have such awesome names? Ashley Riot, Guildenstern, Sydney.
Sydney lost Tarot.
Sydney lost Tarot. I'm not complaining. I find it pretty awesome.
Good, you should.
I do.
I said I don't need that chain sleeve. Chain sleeve is junk.
Chain sleeve is for chumps.
It is. Chumps and women. No offense to any women. And by any women, I mean mostly just Polly, because, let's be real.
Right.
Let's be real.
Let's be real here. That guy's being real.
Yeah, he's got a pretty big sword.
He's also being real dead.
Indeed. I think the first time I played through this game, I foolishly used two-handed swords, because most of the time when I play RPGs, I either have to dual wield or use two-handed swords. If I don't have the option to dual wield, then I must use a two-handed sword. It's basically the way it works. And now you know more about.
I understand.
More about Dr. Deezee.
Dual wielding is pretty fun.
Yeah, but then I learned the hard way that not having a shield in this game is really stupid. So.
It's not a good recipe for fun times.
Yeah, it's not a good recipe for success, at any rate. And that pillar is attacking me viciously.
It's alright, you put that inanimate object to shame.
I did indeed. Now we enter a pretty cool area, the Undercity. Guess what populates?
As opposed to all the other underground places we've been to.
Right, well.
Ooh, it's blue.
Yes.
Is that a street lamp?
It is. What
lamp underground.
What types of enemies do you expect from the Undercity?
Human dudes. Or zombies.
Zombies was the correct answer. Hence, the unveiling of the Apocalypse.
I see.
Which is still getting quite a bit of mileage out of this weapon.
Such a tiny thing. Cause so much destruction.
Yes. And it fits because Polly herself is reportedly a tiny person, so.
I'll have to take her word for it.
Indeed you will.
Pretty eerie music we got going on.
There's actually not too much music that you notice in this game, because a lot of it seems to just be ambience.
Yeah.
It's one of the first areas that might have a memorable tune. Well, that and the mines, I guess. The mines did have some music going on, too.
Yeah.
These enemies also have a pretty good chance of dropping decent equipment, but I don't think it happens for me in the video.
Aww.
Yes, it happened for me in one of my test runs. These guys are huge jerks. They have a pretty high evasion rate for the first hit, so...
That's lame.
I don't like that, yeah.
Dagger break already.
And more locked doors.
Damn it.
Once again, being railroaded. I was talking to our good friend here, Soren, off recording, about how this game, at least for this early part, is fairly linear. As you have seen, there's not a lot of exploration to it yet. But after these next two areas, the game actually starts to open up somewhat.
Sweet.
And you'll have a choice of various different areas to go and whatnot.
and different color filters.
Yes.
Oh god, giant crab monster.
Giant FU crab. I was too lazy to figure out what this thing is properly weak to. I'd imagine a blunt weapon would be effective.
Right.
But I was trying to see if I couldn't cast this destruction magic stuff on it too to get rid of it from my inventory, but
No target in range.
it,
The hell is...
yeah, it's a little hard to figure out the targeting. There it goes. And then I saw, oh, really?
One time.
All right, I guess I won't be
not
using
worth
it
it.
then. Yeah. Oh,
Spell, analyze.
remember I
Right
was
in its
talking.
face.
Remember I was talking about the unlock spell missing 3 times in a row?
Yeah.
I think I was confusing it for this part where the analyze spell actually does miss like 3 times in a row.
That's lame. I must know more about you. I know nothing.
Tell me your measurements.
How much do you weigh?
What is the status of your relationship?
Do you have your driver's license?
One thing I also have not been doing so far in the game is paying attention to my defensive chain abilities early. I'm pretty sure I don't even have one equipped right now that would like reflect or reduce magic damage anyway, because I'm just that lazy. In this game, the best defense is a good offense, really. Kill it before it kills you. So here we can see piercing weapons that are air affinity are going to be your best bet against this jerk.
Right.
However, I don't have any piercing weapons that are air affinity, so
Have to make do.
we're going to use the Excalibur. Calibre. So when I said I thought blunt weapons were effective, I lied to you, because apparently they're not. So,
Okay.
yes. Disregard.
It's a white lie. You didn't know.
And I also go with the Braveheart gem, which gives you a meager like +3 to everything, but the main benefit is that it increases your chance to connect with your strike by 20%, which
That's
is
pretty ballin'.
quite helpful. And here I forget what I'm doing. That's right, debuffs.
Lower that damage.
Well, it lowers his damage, but it also increases the amount of damage he takes. So it's twofold.
Sweet. Prostasia. Or it's something made up. I bet it is.
It probably is. So as you can see, even with degenerated and all those other kind of things, because I don't have a piercing air affinity weapon, I'm still dealing quite meager damage, but
Ow, God.
yeah.
Oh, it's painful as hell.
But it's enough damage to get the job done.
Yeah. Ashley's a man. He can handle it.
It's better than most people who play this game for the first time. Like every single boss they run into, they'll estimated damage is 0, and that's for like every weapon they have. So people just throw the game out the window and quit.
Nah, this is not a game to be rushed. You gotta take your time with it.
Yes.
At least from what I've seen.
It does require you to be a little methodical at times.
I can dig that.
So can that crab, apparently. Not really sure what the heck a giant crab was doing in the Undercity, but there you have it.
The same could be said of all the bosses. What the hell is this dragon doing in a mine?
Oh,
What the hell is this
Yeah.
dragon doing underground?
I guess. I suppose. But we are introduced to the dragons, fairly early on. Sydney
True.
summons one. This giant crab. Who knows?
No, that completely out of nowhere.
Yes.
Oh hey, giant crab. Hope you like a boss fight.
The apocalypse.
Yes.
One thing I probably should have done a whole lot earlier than I end up doing it is breaking down the apocalypse and reforging it with a different hilt that allows me to put a gem in it. so I can make it a little more malleable. As you can see there, if the environment gets in your way when you're attacking, you'll miss no matter what the projected to-hit percent is. So I hit that straight way up instead of the zombie.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, these ghouls have pretty high evasion. The jerks.
It's kind of weird. Wouldn't expect a being made of rotting flesh to be able to dodge things that well.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, what?
How does that work? Cool.
Slow, shuffling, brain-eating, whatever.
Abominations.
So you actually can't get very far in the Undercity as most of the doors are locked by different things requiring different keys, but once again I'm showing off all the areas you can visit.
Right.
Plus, it gives you a chance to kill a bunch of Zambies, which everyone loves.
That's always fun.
And as
Well timed.
I
Well
mentioned
timed.
earlier, they do drop good stuff if they drop it. Which
Yeah.
I am not so lucky on my drops here.
Damn it. Good. Cool.
Great.
Excellent. Cool.
Cool.
Again.
Excellent. And for those who are wondering, the way enemy drop rates work, like, I think it's just calculated each time the enemy is killed. So it's not... What I'm getting at is that if you, for instance, used a save state and entered the room and killed all the enemies and then reloaded state and killed all the enemies again, your drops will be different.
I see.
In case anyone wants to save scum. Which you don't really need to do at any point in the game until you start getting into forging ultimate equipment.
Ultimate stuff.
But that is not even until a second playthrough scenario, so...
Yeah, that's way off. Don't have to worry about it.
And then, if you don't want to save scum, enemies will respawn in a room once you visit a room. Either if you leave the area completely, or you go, I think, 4 screens away. The enemies will respawn.
That's handy.
Yes, quite. And now comes a big hurdle in the game.
No.
Well, after some plot, so we'll talk about the
Ashley
hurdle.
is freaking out again.
For whatever reason, Ashley has the ability to see things through other people.
She can eavesdrop from long distances.
Seems pretty useful. Don't you ever say just a workshop. Workshops are your friends. See, here again is a... I think this character gets referred to by rank, but Samantha does not. Or well, at least it's clearly implied that this person has rank because they're talking about her troops.
Right.
And yet, Samantha is just... Oh, it's the boss's girlfriend.
I don't have a rank, I just walk around in a skirt.
Yes. It's about to make inappropriate sexual jokes, but whatever.
It's not necessary.
We'll leave it to your imagination. This guy's always... He's always entering from off camera. There we go.
Oh my god, Romeo Guildenstern.
There's his first name.
That's awesome.
Romeo.
Romeo Guildenstern.
That doesn't sound like a good thing.
But in the context of this game, it totally is.
And I wonder if the paling he's talking about is the same kind of... I do believe palings were featured in Final Fantasy XII, but I could be mistaken.
I don't know. It's been a few years since I played that game.
Same. Haha!
Ow! What the hell? She's like, what the hell just happened?
I didn't say that. There is the slapping scene that I recall Drew Blood.
Yeah.
If you remember me mentioning that a few videos ago.
Romeo must keep up his daily practice.
Interestingly enough, it may be a little hard to tell with this video resolution, but Ashley's bleeding from the mouth as Samantha was from that slap.
No, I can tell.
Okay.
It's a neat detail.
So here's that jerk who's been creepily stalking us.
No, he's been platonically stalking. This is totally different.
You're right, it has actually been platonic.
Rosencrantz, another Shakespeare reference.
Indeed.
Grand Steward, let's say it. Everyone in this game has an awesome name. What is that?
So Ashley immediately calls BS on this guy's story because he's like, risk breakers work alone, dog. So Rosencrantz smells like fish. That's what's happening here.
The dark powers and the dead that walk.
So just like all of Solid Snake's support team, they send in Ashley Riot without a single clue about what the heck's going on, even though they all know already. What jerks.
That does not make any sense. Why wouldn't you tell them these things?
Because you secretly implanted Sydney Dye in Ashley Riot. Now everyone he contacts will spontaneous
Oh no.
death.
Oh, what? More the mortal. I like the sound of that. Or do I?
So the dark is basically like this game's version of the Force.
Right. It sounds eviler.
Yeah, it's a little eviler. A little more evil.
I'm glad the text boxes are covering up Ashley's chaps. Ah, never mind.
Never mind. So there's the important point, is that the dark requires feeding.
That doesn't sound pleasant at all.
Hence that mysterious earthquake 25 years ago.
Right. Rosencrantz, you're saying important shit. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, yet you have no evidence. Therefore, I will cut you.
Oh, that's awesome.
GTFO, nub.
Hell yeah, localization.
Duh, you can save here, but I'm a man. I don't need a save.
Who does? Pansies do, that's who.
Rosencrantz can't make up his mind. It's like, I don't really feel like going back in the Undercity, actually. Oh, and that tip that he mentions, like follow the fireflies or whatever, it's not going to help you. It doesn't have any bearing on gameplay.
Prick.
Yes. Whoa. You're joined by somebody who's quite surprised in the background.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Like I said, these videos are recorded in a studio. The highest of production values. We're in the same.
Equipment.
I speak so I can get roasted.
For God's sake. Lucas, be quiet. Sorry.
Perfect. It's not ruining the mood of the scene at all. Now, actually, what's going on here, if you haven't been paying attention, is Rosencrantz appears to be a double agent jerkbag who is in league with the Crimson Blades.
Oh no.
So his risk breaker story was full of poop, as Ashley suspected.
Prick. Ashley's a smart guy.
Like you said, risk breakers work alone, so
Right. I train professionals.
anybody who's anybody works alone.
Well, yeah, obviously. Just like most any action game protagonist ever.
Indeed. So the gimmick, we'll talk about the gimmick of the Snowfly Forest here for a sec, is that it's a teleporter maze. Everyone's favorite.
I hate teleported mazes.
Yes.
They're never any fun.
So you can sit around and try to figure it out manually, but there's also guides that tell you where to go.
Right.
And there's a direct route and a explore all map tiles route. So I take the explore all map tiles route.
That's the fun way.
Yes. Although we're not going to see the entire forest in this video, as it is quite large.
Ah.
And like most other places, features multiple boss fights.
Oh boy. I love multiple bosses. In a row.
There's only... I was about to lie. There's 3 different enemies that you can encounter in the forest, and for the most part you'll only be encountering 2. One is like a little lizard type thing, and one is a weird flying squid thing, or flying anteater maybe. I guess that's one way to put it. One thing that's important when navigating the forest is to make sure that the camera stays in the same orientation the entire time, or you'll easily get turned around.
Ah, that's good advice.
Your lefts
Oh no,
and your
lizard
rights.
monsters.
Yeah, both this lizard thing and the flying thing that we'll see in a sec are beast types.
I see. This place is really misty.
See, flying. I don't know. What would you call
What is that thing?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what that thing is.
But they give you a sweet item that boosts your movement speed and jumping capabilities. Not that I think that I use it too much.
Yeah.
I've almost
I'm really sorry about this.
Highest professional quality possible. And
No targeting range.
yeah, I can hear the enemy. I can't really. There it is. There we go.
Sweet, there it is.
And I'm trying to get... It's a lot harder for me to chain if I can't actually see Ashley on screen, and I just have to rely on like sounds and the exclamation points, so...
Yeah.
But as I said, you want to keep the camera in the same orientation, so I will be immediately fixing that. There
Right.
we go. Perfect.
Perfect.
And I suppose I could have like opened up the map and shown you where you get teleported to each and every time, but I didn't figure it was that important.
Oh my god, another dragon.
This dragon's actually kind of a dick. He is maybe could be considered a brick wall type boss because he has really high defense and is an affinity that is hard to deal with. He's an earth dragon.
Oh man.
So we're gonna boost Excalibur with the Dragonite Orb, and we got a new spell, I think, from the crab, which was
Sweet.
the Luft Fusion, the air spell, which is this boss's weakness. Getting around to attack the tail on this boss is really hard, and
I would
also
imagine so.
for whatever reason does not seem to deal much extra damage either. So your best bet is to go with a piercing weapon, but I didn't really have any piercing weapons that I could use. So I just go for the easiest body part to target, which is the leg. It has the highest chance to hit, which you can see is not very high at 50.
Right.
I suppose I could have tested and seen whether it would have been more effective to use a Braveheart gem than the Dragonite gem, but oh well. The other thing about this boss is he does quite a bit of damage.
Ah, son of a bitch.
Even I'm probably over-equipped even in my armor at this point in the game, so you would expect that like the normal player that didn't get as good armor drops and hasn't been combining their shields and whatever like I have would take even more damage from that.
Yeah.
And because I've been intentionally avoiding agility, I also probably have more HP than most people have at this point in the game as well.
This boss seems pretty brutal.
He is quite brutal. I think eventually I go for a Raging Ache strategy against him as well, to deal damage a little faster.
Ah. At least the music's good.
Indeed. One thing you probably don't want to do, unless you're really confident in your ability to chain, is, like I've mentioned before, go beyond 8 chains, because then you start piling up risk really fast.
Right.
And if you don't finish off the enemy in your chain, and you have to eat a counterattack at like 100 risk, you're going to take a truckload of damage.
Probably die.
Indeed.
By the sounds of it.
There, I've screwed up and hit the button way too fast.
You're in dire straits here.
Indeed. However, the dragon does... You do have the chance to attack like 2 or 3 times for every one of his.
Right.
So I don't have to heal immediately. I'm going to take advantage of my situation and use Raging Ache, which deals damage based on how much damage you have taken.
Sweet.
And is thus more effective the less health that you have. Of course I miss, so F me, right?
You're a pro.
So Heavy Shot is the one that's dealing about 26, and Raging Ache was dealing about 21.
Ah.
But I didn't have to continue the chain for very long before it died, so...
Hooray!
Sweet balls.
That was ridiculous.
Earth Dragon or Land Dragon, I can't remember what his name is, but yeah, he's a pretty tough boss. It might behoove you to... I have to eat that
agility.
Son of a... Oh well.
God damn it.
Like I said, I'm trying to keep it as low as possible, but I'm also not gonna necessarily reset or whatever if I do get some agility ups.
Right.
And as I've mentioned before, I may not even end up doing ultimate armor, because that could be a huge waste of time and patience.
Yeah.
The best strategy for building ultimate armor is to have really high strength while you have really low agility, because then the enemies are dealing like 1 or 0 damage to you. And even if they deal 0 damage, you still have a chance to change the stats of your equipment. So.
I see. Meanwhile, in another part of the forest. What?
Grissom?
Fandos?
Yeah, he's calling for... Those are some names for you.
Those were certainly names.
Indeed they were. And even though he entered the forest like right after Ashley, he seems to be in a completely different part of it. So
This forest messes with your sense of direction.
I suppose it does make sense, because like I said, it is a teleporter maze.
Yeah.
And Grissom clearly didn't have a support team that had access to GameFAQs, so
GameFAQs does not exist in Ivalice.
he's just toast.
Hopelessly lost.
And why might I be equipping the Undine Jasper, you might ask?
I can only guess.
It's because of that, as of yet, 3rd unencountered enemy is in the forest. Which we'll see shortly, I guess.
Yeah.
That's right, you have to go up and then down. You'll be teleported to a different area.
That's intuitive.
Well, actually, I don't know if you have to go that way, because like I said, I was doing the visit all path.
Right.
Yeah, whatever. Spoilers on the next videos, actually, I get lost. And I left it in a little bit, because I didn't get lost for like too long.
Yeah.
But it shows you what it's like to try to navigate the forest without actually knowing where you're going.
Right. No, 2 damage.
Because what am I trying to say? I guess realistically, I could have tried to look at a map and figure out based on the room that I was in, like which paths I needed to take, but
Yeah.
trying to figure that out would have taken just about as long as it took to just brute force it anyway, so.
Oh my god, it's the genie thing as a regular enemy.
Yes, that is why I have the Jasper equipped. He's actually slightly weaker than he was when he was a boss, but still a jerk.
I would imagine so.
Once again, edged weapons, I think, are going to be more effective against phantoms
Right.
than your other options. So he'll appear in a couple different screens. He's the one you got to be wary of compared to the other two enemies that aren't really a big deal.
Right.
And this is a special screen, the river screen, since it has a save point.
Save points are always special.
And a container. There's not too many places in the game actually where the container shows up outside of workshops.
I see.
I think so far we've only seen the container. There was the very first container that you see real early on in the wine cellar.
Yeah.
There's
And,
the catacombs one and this one outside of the workshop containers. And we have some jumping Zambies.
Those guys can jump, man.
They got hops. So of course we take out the apocalypse, because what else are we going to use against Zambies?
Right. Gotta murderize them.
I didn't check to see what Death Fister was dealing against these enemies, but again, as I've been saying, the apocalypse, also known as the Soul Kiss, for those playing at home,
Right.
still really effective. So
That's hella effective.
yeah, you can see the difference there between an enemy that's got a shield and an enemy that does not. Was about 30 or 40 damage per hit. And we get a sweet chest with good gems. That shield is nice, so
Pretty sweet haul.
indeed. This will be the cutoff point of the video for the most part. It's just a save screen between us and the end.
I see.
I hesitated. I thought about using the container and I realized I don't really have anything I need to dump. So, next video we will be finishing up the forest. We have a pretty cool boss encounter.
Ooh, sounds exciting.
Some sweet plot dump stuff, so
Love plot dumps.
do be sure to stick around. It'll be great. So thank you viewers, thank you Soren.
Thanks for having me.
And I and perhaps Soren will be seeing you next time.
Maybe. See you guys later.
Peace.